Hello and welcome to Meet the Boss TV. When is the cloud appropriate for your business? In this programme we visit Dimension Data HQ to find out. While cost is often a primary driver behind the decision to begin the journey to the cloud, an increasing number of firms are finding that making that move is not just about cheaper IT, it's about better IT. And while those two concepts aren't mutually exclusive, they are subtly different. I caught up with Andy Lancaster, Sales Director for the company's cloud offering, to discover why the cloud is about enablement rather than replacement.
IT departments today who are still building capital-intensive, asset-rich infrastructures are coming under pressure from their lines of business and their executives to do more with IT. There are so many more now, let's say, tech-savvy users now outside of IT that they all know the benefits that cloud computing in its different forms can bring around, pay-as-you-go and allowing organisations to pay for IT in direct relation to the consumption of those services. Also, there's the conserving of capital, which is precious in any organisation, and keeping assets off books. But for me, there's more than that. It's around the expectations now that the business have. It's a tough job for IT, right? It isn't a race to the bottom. It's not about which cloud provider is the cheapest. Organisations really have to consider what type of service they're looking for and what type of service provider is capable of delivering that service. Dimension Data's approach is to ensure that customers are migrating to an appropriate cloud platform. With Dimension Data, we're quite fortunate to have a portfolio that's very, very wide and very, very deep. And we can look at building an applicable cloud platform and an applicable cloud solution for our customers to enable that they actually get a solution that works for them. So if a private cloud solution is the better one and the better option, then that's what we'll position. If it's public cloud, again, that's what we'll position. We're quite blessed in having this portfolio, as well as our other traditional lines of business here within Dimension Data. Security practices, we've got data center practices, we've got mobility and UC&C practices that can all help and really strengthen our message with our customers as a very serious player and a leader in the cloud space.
I asked Andy how this philosophy enables CIOs to gain greater insight into the way they manage their environment.
I think any line of business are capable now of opening up and signing up with a credit card or a contract, creating a shadow IT environment. IT needs to be aware that this type of shadow IT buying does happen, but they also know that they can do something about it. They can embrace the technologies themselves to help better serve their internal customers, to enable better serve their external customers.
So do you have any key recommendations for CIOs and firms in general about how to manage this type of complex, heterogeneous, cloud-focused type organisation?
Yeah, absolutely. So, the two key things that are important are automation and orchestration. That's at the very heart of how organisations will extract the maximum value from cloud environments, public, private, and the combination of the two in a hybrid environment. It's about getting a consistent global experience, irrespective of whether they're using public or private.
If 2013 really is the year that enterprises start embracing hybrid cloud, then it stands to reason that it will also be the year where security for the hybrid cloud solutions takes centre stage. With so many facets of the hybrid cloud, how can firms effectively address all the different security concerns involved?
I would strongly recommend and stress that enterprises and any organisation using cloud really looks at the cloud service provider and the capabilities that they have got. This isn't just about security. Look at the service levels that organisations are offering. Look at the service credit regimes that they're offering. Look how suitable they are to your particular workload. With Dimension Data's platform, we actually start building the infrastructure really with security in mind and allow VLAN segmentation between different parts of an application. There'll be a user interface and a configurable firewall that will sit between the user's web layer and the internet with load balancers that can be configured. There'll be firewalls between mid-tiers and back-ends to really wrap security inside the very heart of the cloud platform itself. Also, you've got to look at the location in which these services are being delivered from. What type of physical security, what type of physical facility is the cloud service provider using? They shouldn't be afraid or worried about being really open and showing the infrastructure in the physical building that these clouds sit in. because they're as much as a reinforcement of security and how seriously cloud service providers are taking security in the cloud.
So how important is collaboration when thinking about your cloud implementation options? Which stakeholders do you need to involve? And how do you get staff excited by, rather than afraid of and resistant to, that transition?
So I'd say cloud does change an organisation, but it isn't something that anybody or any parts or any lines of business should be afraid of. On the contrary, I think organisations that aren't embracing cloud really are doing themselves a disservice, and a disservice to their customer base. In terms of how you'd get people away from the natural reticence and fear about cloud, I think it's all about education internally. It's about showing the benefits back to the business as quickly as possible. But let's not always think that cloud is going to be moving everything in an IT operation. It could just be a really very simple requirement for some public cloud infrastructure for 20, 30, 40, 50 servers, just to do a specific project for a few months to be torn down again. Far fewer people need to be involved in that type of decision.
So if there's been one buzzword to rival the hype around cloud in recent years, it's that of big data.
Yes.
Now, how do you see these two technology trends evolving in tandem over the next few years, and how will a company's strategy around one define the other?
Sure. So big data for me personally, it's the foundation of creating new levels of business value. It's looking at integrated storage and analytics. Big data will define personalised products and services for organisations and end customers, with the ultimate aim of improving their own customer experience and levels of customer satisfaction. Cloud, I think, is intrinsically linked to big data. Yeah, so it's an important part of the overall delivery platform of a big data solution. Serious consideration should be made to leveraging the high performance, rapid scalability and lower costs of a cloud solution for big data.
Where do you see the most exciting developments in terms of cloud adoption? What are the major opportunities such an approach can unlock?
I think this next 12-24 months we'll see the enterprise really ramping up their use of cloud technologies, but not just for non-production, for test dev, for DR, for QA type purposes. This will be real lines of business. I'm thinking about ERP applications and maybe the lifeblood of organisations.
Are there any challenges or concerns on the horizon, or any pitfalls that companies should avoid when moving to the cloud?
Companies need to do their homework. They really need to look at if the workload is applicable to that level of cloud provision. So whether that's a public cloud or a private cloud, they need to make sure that they do their research and make the move knowing with absolute confidence that the end result will be what they wanted. So my message is make sure that companies evaluate the market properly